Welcome to Scott Bryson Beyond the Service. Got a war story for you tonight that I haven't told many times. My wife actually reminded me of this. I sort of forgot about it. So keep it. I'll give you the Cliff Note version, I guess. So I was a Secret Service agent for 25 years. During that time, I tried to leave the job several times. Uh, One time, two times I tried to leave for Chick-fil-A because I love Chick-fil-A and I also love making money. And I know those boys are printing money back there. So I really thought the Lord was calling me into the business world, which He was not. I thought that He was. So I was wrong, as usual. I tried to apply twice, swing and a miss, so didn't happen, which is good now. I'm glad it didn't happen, but at the time I was a little confused, but that didn't happen. And then I worked with the CIA guys some over the course of my time. Started doing some stuff with them when I was on the counter assault team from '04 to '07, and then worked with them again in '08 when I went to Karzai's Palace. I told you all about that. When I was a site agent at Karzai's Palace, that was wild. And then got stationed in London, and I worked with them not every day, but every week for sure. Several times a week, I'd go down to their office in the embassy and read cables that had intelligence stuff related to protectees or whatever. So anyway, I kind of got the itch. I had been on defense. I played defense in football, played defense for work. I was like, I want to go on the offense. I'm going to be offensive. I really regretted not being in the military. I think I would have been good at it. We'll never know. That ship has sailed. But I would have loved to have been in the military. I would have loved to have been in some type of special forces unit. That wasn't my path. So I'm like, okay, I'm in my mid to late 30s. Uh, I'm past my prime, but not too far past it. I was still hitting on pretty much all cylinders. I'm like, I can do this. So I'm going to go GRS, which is Global Response Staff. Uh, my ultimate goal was to go to ground branch, which I knew it probably was never going to happen because I wasn't even in the military, much less special forces, which is pretty much a prerequisite for those guys. But I thought if I could just get my foot in the door, I may try to weasel my way over there. But even if I don't, GRS is awesome. So 13 hours. If you guys have ever seen the movie 13 Hours, Benghazi and all that stuff, that's what those guys were doing. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to serve my country. I felt like I had served my country as a policeman and as a Secret Service agent, but I don't know, I just had this weird desire to do more. It sounds super weird now thinking back on it, but that's what I wanted to do. I applied 3 times over the course of 10 years, was told no twice pretty quickly or didn't hear back. I don't remember much about that. It was a long time ago. Uh, and then, like I said, 3 times over 10 years, at the end of that 10-year mark, which I guess would have been around, okay, so 2016. So 2006 to 2016. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember the dates and the times. But I had applied a third time, and this time I actually got the interview, and I did another polygraph, which I think I've had 5 polygraphs in my life. That one was intense. All the things, you know, that you could imagine, background check, all the things. I got the offer. This was in 2016. Wasn't sure how the election was going to go. One of the reasons I was looking to jump ship from the service is I truly thought Hillary Clinton was going to get elected. And if I'm just going to be blunt and dead, I just didn't want to be. I just did not. Up until that point in my life, I had been very good at compartmentalizing and separating my politics from my mission. But I didn't think I could do that, and I didn't want to be a hypocrite. So I was gonna pop smoke and I was gonna go somewhere else. And thankfully she did not win. Trump won, as we know, and I got promoted, so it worked out. But in 2016, didn't know that was going to happen, right? And so I got this offer. I finally got the offer to go to GRS, and I was a 13.9 or a 13.10. I hadn't been promoted officially yet, but I was making good money, and I was way up there. And they offered me like a 12-step 5. I'm like, I don't know if I'd go that far backwards, like financially, right? So they sent me the offer letter in the mail. I was like, hey, I countered, In between the time that I countered the offer, I actually got promoted at the Secret Service. I had been trying to get promoted for 9 years. Uh, I'm like, God, you have a sense of humor, don't you? Like, literally got promoted today, okay? And then the second offer letter, we know they had offered me a letter, they'd offered me the job. I had countered it. They resent it FedEx again. I get promoted. The next day, the letter shows up. I'm like, man, literally one day later after I had been promoted. Now I'm a 14 step 5, and they're offering me a 12 step 6. I can't go back 2 full pay grades. I know it's nerd talk for a lot of people, but like that's a lot of money, uh, which I was willing to take the hit financially because I believed in the mission. Uh, and I knew I'd make up the money on overtime and danger pay and all that stuff. So I wasn't worried about the salary. But the problem was the retirement systems were different. Secret Service as a federal agent, it was under first special, so I was earning 1.7% per year. They were only under first, so I was going to earn 1% per year. So I was 5 years from retirement. I would have had to work 10 more years, which is kind of funny because I'm still working now. So I could be over at GRS running around the world, but I'm not doing that. I'm doing something else. So, it's funny how things shake out. But I just wanted to share that story because it was an interesting time in my life. Again, humbled myself, stopped being bitter, did some praying about it. I don't know if I prayed about it as much as I should have, but I definitely prayed about it. And I uh, asked for guidance and discernment from different people. Well, I guess discernment comes from the Lord, but I asked for some guidance from some other people. And I tell you, it was the hardest thing I've ever said no to professionally. Like, talk about checking your ego. 10 years. You have to imagine, I've tried 3 times over a 10-year span to go do this really cool job. I finally get the nod, and then I say no. I mean, it was just super hard to say no to. But I followed my head and not my heart, which is usually the other way around. I'll tell my kids, chase the job, don't chase the money. You have to be happy because if you go to work, you could be making a bunch of money, but if you're not happy, it's all for nothing, right? You don't want to be miserable. You have to have a job that makes you happy. Um, I don't care how much money you make. That won't bring happiness. So I I followed my head, not my heart, and it worked out well because I became good friends with Eric and Laura Trump, which not many people can say. Uh, awesome people. I did get promoted by the Secret Service, and I went on to have a great career. I did 5 more years there, 5 or 6 more, I think. But was a supervisor for 5 years. I did 3 of those with Presidential Protective Division. Uh, you know, going to the White House every day for work's not terrible, um, unless you're running the jock. That sucks bad. And then I went to Hawaii for 2 years, and I ran a criminal squad in Hawaii. So living in Honolulu is not terrible either. So I'm not crying over spilt milk. I just thought it was a cool story because it was a job that I really wanted. And I think a lot of it was probably ego driven and wanted to see if I could do it because I missed that military component in my life that I never had, and like be working with some pretty high speed dudes. And I've always felt like I have the intangibles that some people don't possess, like just the willingness to go do it. Not everybody wants to go live like that and get dirty and do the grunt type work. I love getting dirty. Suit and tie and clean shaven, I don't like that stuff much anymore. Never did like it, just had to do it. But yeah, it's a cool story. My wife reminded me of it earlier today. It's funny because I really, really wanted it, and it took a lot. Took a lot to say no to it. She was very supportive, like always. She would have been on board with it. But yeah, I finally got the final offer one day after I got promoted, and so I didn't get mad. I don't think I even got mad. I remember kind of chuckling, like, God, you got a sense of humor. So now you know my little CIA story.